Welcome to This Birding Life, a podcast for birdwatchers everywhere. I'm your host, Bill Thomspon III. This Birding Life is hosted by Birdwatchers Digest, which has been publishing engaging, entertaining content for birders since 1978. Learn more about our publications, our blogs, other podcasts, products, and our world-class birding events at birdwatchersdigest.com. This Birding Life is made possible through the support of our generous sponsors, Carl Zeiss Sports Optics and Rock Jumper Birding Tours. Carl Zeiss is the maker of the Zeiss Victory SF binocular, created specifically for birding. You have got to try the Victory SFs to believe how incredible these optics are. Learn more at zeiss.com/birding. Rock Jumper Worldwide Birding Adventures takes birders to more than 300 destinations in more than 100 countries, and they do it the right way, offering top flight tours with talented, knowledgeable guides, and always giving back to birding conservation causes. Learn more at rockjumperbirding.com. This is episode 63, Voices of the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. In early November, I traveled to Honduras to take part in the first annual Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. I was honored to be selected as one of 5 international birding guides, all of whom were paired with top-flight Honduran guides. We formed 5 teams, each of which had 10 birders who had paid to come along on this intriguing adventure. The Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour was the brainchild of James Adams, who is the marketing coordinator for Pico Bonito Lodge and Spa, one of Honduras's premier birding destinations. James and the other stakeholders in Honduras who joined in the event wanted to promote Honduras as an avatourism destination to the world outside, as well as to demonstrate to the Honduran government and the Honduran people the critical importance of bird and habitat conservation. The event generated $50,000 in prize money, which was awarded to the top 3 teams who saw the most species. But all of this money didn't go to the teams. The teams each picked a conservation cause within Honduras and donated that prize money to them. Several neighboring countries in Latin America have done very well attracting ecotourists. Now Honduras feels it's its turn. The Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour is just one part of Honduras's effort to become a successful destination. All of us participating in the event were pleased to see the positive impact it made in terms of awareness, media attention, government buy-in to nature-based tourism and conservation. Our tour was 10 days in length with 8 full days in the field birding. And while the original concept of the event was to have a relaxing, enjoyable pace, as the tour took its final form, it became a bit of a tug-of-war between the proscribed birding destination assignments, the wildly changeable weather of Honduras, and the challenges of getting from one birding hotspot to another, given the limits of Honduras's transportation system, and of course the limits of the endurance of the people participating in the tour. Despite all these challenges and the competition, our team, the Velveteen Cotingas, really enjoyed ourselves. Sure, we all got a little tired, chigger-bitten, sunburned, and seat-sore, but it didn't spoil our good time or dampen our enthusiasm for the birds, people, and landscapes we were experiencing. Here are some of the interviews I collected during the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. Okay, we're up in the tower. Elmer, tell us who you are.
We are in the tower, the Toucan Tower of the Pico Bonito Lodge.
This is the Toucan Tower. Tell us your name.
Elmer Escoto.
And Elmer, you're a guide here at Pico?
Yeah, I'm a guide here in Pico.
And you're participating in the Birding for Conservation Tour?
Yeah, I'm going to be one of the guys, one of the local guides.
And who's your international guide that's coming with you?
Bill Thomspon, sir. He's a nice guy.
So what are the kind of birds that you see? What are the species that you typically see here from the tower?
We already saw a purple crown fairy. We got a glimpse of the striped-tailed hummingbird. We got kill-bill toucans flying by, brown-hooded parrot, olive-throated parakeet, white-crowned parrot, and we might see the lovely cotinga again this morning.
That would be lovely. And we're hearing, people can probably hear in the background, there's the roaring of a river. What river is that we're looking at?
The river down here is the Coloradito River. The lodge property is between 2 rivers, in the middle of 2 rivers. The other river on the right is the Corinto River.
Okay. And those go down to?
The Caribbean
okay.
coast.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful morning here. And we're hoping to get a little appearance of the Cotinga. I'm going to interview also Richard Crossley, who's here. Richard, welcome to This Birding Life.
Great to be here, mate.
Now, you've been here a few days. Is this your first time in Honduras?
It's my first time. Fantastic. Looking out here, there's thousands. It feels like millions of butterflies all migrating south, and fantastic view of the canopy top. Really wonderful.
And you've been toting around your camera, I see. Have you had some good luck with taking some pictures?
Oh, it's fantastic here. The hummingbird show is through the roof. So I'm not doing a lot of scouting, so I've been a bad boy, but don't you worry, Bill. I'll have my game face on come Saturday, mate.
I know. I'm wondering about this competition. I've never been to Honduras before, and I'm feeling very relaxed about it, but I'm starting to realize we're up against some pretty stiff competition. But I'm looking forward to it, aren't you?
Oh, I am. It's going to be funny, really. It's a race, but it's hard to race around here. There's too much to look at, too much to see, and we're going to have pretty big groups with us, 10 people in each group. So I'm not sure how it's going to be, but it's for a fantastic cause, for a fantastic country.
Yeah, and everybody wins because we'll get some money that we can donate to conservation causes. I think that's something we're all looking forward to.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I'll be talking to you again, Richard, but in case I don't see you before the start line, good luck to you.
Good luck to you, Bill.
There is a Araceli scope, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Colored Araceli. The only one you can see is the red rump.
We're sitting here with James Adams from Pico Bonito. James, what's your official title here at Pico?
Okay, I'm assistant manager, I'm head naturalist, and I'm the American owner's representative here at Pico Bonito Lodge.
Okay. And you have been largely responsible for putting Pico on the map from a from a marketing standpoint, I would say, with all your amazing posts on social media. I mean, things from your trail cameras, photos you've taken from various, miradors or overlooks. Have you seen I'm sure you've seen an uptick in people coming here for birding and for hiking and naturalizing?
Oh man, absolutely. We really started to market in earnest bird watching as an industry, as a serious endeavor, maybe 6 or 8 years ago. And prior to that, we would get the odd bird watcher, but they would show up and maybe do a morning hike or something like that, and that would be it. Once we started to really learn about what we have here, learn the birds here, learn the habitat, learn the seasons, and be able to market it credibly and put together itineraries, we very quickly saw an uptick. And what's been great about it is, yeah, we're good, yeah, our guides are good, but the more birders you get here, the more eyes you get here,
right.
the more exponentially your education of what you have grows.
Right. And today and tomorrow, everybody's going to be arriving from literally all over the place to compete in the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. When did that idea come about for you?
Boy, that idea came about June or July in 2015, and that was a conversation with U.S. Ambassador Nealon, in which he said, James, how can we market Honduras the way that you've been marketing Pico Bonito? Right. And I had never really organized an event before of any kind, but I knew they existed. I knew people who had done them, organized them, participated in them, birding races and what have you. So I just drew something down on the back of an envelope for him, and I said, well, I think we can do it this way. Yeah. Let's do, sort of something like a PGA for birding, and if we can get some very special people to come down and lead groups, we can get the groups down, and maybe we can do something good for the country.
And really, the neat thing is not only is it going to shine a spotlight on Honduras and the birding and natural history things that are here, but it's also going to put money back into conservation.
That's exactly right. I mean, there are so many wins about this. There's the immediate economic benefit of the guides and the drivers and the restaurants and the lodges and all that stuff, and there's the publicity part, because people in Honduras are going to learn that their country has a lot of important things to offer as far as birding and conservation. But international people are going to learn about this, have learned about it prior, and will learn more after. But the real focus here has been how can we benefit conservation, and that's where our prize money comes in. The Honduran government, right away, the Honduran president, Juan Orlando Hernandez, as soon as I explained this idea to him, he said, James, you got $20,000 from us right away.
Nice.
That's going to go back into vetted birding conservation projects here in Honduras. And our lodge came up with a second prize of $10,000, and Zeiss Optics came up with a $5,000 cash prize. Again, all of this stuff is going towards birding conservation projects. And Zeiss Optics also came up with some binoculars for one of these projects. So yeah, it's been quite amazing. We'll see where it goes from here as far as in future years.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, I want to talk to you later in the week and find out how things are going when I'm back here, Pico. But what are the sites that the tour will be hitting? That there are 5 teams. They're rotating around. What are the various birding sites that they're going to?
Okay, it's a very good diversity of habitats and situations. Starting here where we are, Pico Bonito Lodge is going to be 1. Moving westward, Panacam Lodge and Cerro Azul National Park will be 2. And then continuing westward, the area around the Mayan ruins at Copan will be 3. And each one of those locations has a great mosaic of habitats and day trips that you can access from there. For example, here from Pico Bonito, we can get to tropical dry forests, we can get to mangroves and wetlands, coastal estuaries and such. From Panacam, we can access everything from lakeshore habitats all the way up to cloud forest and pine oak forest, and we'll be doing that there. And then once we get to Copan, we'll have incomparable birding among the Mayan ruins themselves, which is sort of a pine oak riparian mix. And then we'll get up into some cloud forest when we get up into an area that's called Finca Isabel. So it's a very good, very rich, diverse itinerary.
I'm very excited to be one of the team leaders, co-leaders. It's going to be a super trip, and we'll look forward to getting out there and seeing some birds and checking back with you later in the week.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
James.
very much.
All right, so it's the morning of day 2, and I'm here with William and Elmer, 2 of the Honduran guide leaders for Team Tanager, that's William, and for the Velveteen Cotingas, that's Elmer, and he's with me. William, how'd you guys do yesterday?
Well, we did great, and we went in the Copan ruins, and we saw hoodbill kites, a bunch of euphonias, wood creepers, mixed flocks of warblers, and the people had the opportunity to enjoy about and learn a lot about the Mayan culture.
Cool. Elmer, how do you think we did yesterday up at Finca Welchez?
I think we did it great. We got a couple feeding flocks, a lot of warblers, golden wing, that was special, and McGilly rays, it was pretty special. A lot of orioles too. We saw some toucans, and for me it was great, I think.
Yeah. So, do we know what to expect today? Is it going to be as equally good or better today?
Well, in our case, we're going to visit the place you visited yesterday morning.
Yeah, and we scared all the birds away, so.
So we're going to expect to get more birds because the weather seems like it's going to be better, and I hope to raise 130 species today.
Ooh, 130. Elmer, what do you think?
Well, we're supposed to be then.
Yeah, we are definitely supposed to beat them. And the thing is, we're doing it without performance-enhancing drugs, too.
Yeah, well, that's true. And we're going to visit the same place what they visited yesterday in the morning. So it's going to be by the river Las Sepulturas. We suppose, hopefully, we're going to get there, the hoodbill kite, some other raptors flying by, like greyhawk.
Yeah.
Maybe some other warblers, you know. We missed a couple around here, maybe graces, we never know. Also, some other orioles what we missed also. And, well, it's been our lucky.
It's going to be, it's only day 2 out of 7 days straight of birding, so.
Yeah, the good thing is, like yesterday, we learned a little bit about of the of the team. We get to know the people, who are the sporting, who are the people who can hear very well, and like the team is getting together, and something very important too. Many people have a lot of lifers, and that was really really nice. Team Appleton is doing a great job leading the team, and we are very positive, and I hope we get more species today, as I said before.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, good luck today, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
So I'm here in downtown Copan, and it's 4:45, and city's just waking up. Mostly the roosters are waking up. I got up this morning for our second full day of the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. We had a great day yesterday despite kind of rainy and misty and surprisingly cool weather at the Finca Welches coffee farm where we did most of our birding. And we ran into some afternoon groups of warblers and a few other things like that, and there just went the police by. Early morning, probably headed to the donut shop. So I'm standing down here in the park, the Central Park, which in Mexico would be called the Zocalo. And it's pretty quiet, just the roosters and a few guys talking and smoking. They're looking at me because it's probably weird to see a big tall gringo walking around in the park at before 5 in the morning. Anyway, looking forward to a good day today. We're going to bird the Copan ruins, and it's where there are scarlet macaws and a bunch of other birds. I love being there at those ancient places, which were chosen for all these incredible reasons. Back thousands of years ago when they built these cities. And I love thinking about the fact that the Oropendulas and the macaws and the euphonias and things that we're seeing and hearing there are the descendants of the same birds that were there thousands of years ago when they were cutting those stones and hauling them into place and engineering these things without modern tools. So it's going to be a neat day. Always love birding ruins and ancient places like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Just wish I could sleep past 2:30 in the morning. All right, more coming soon.
I hope in Copan you make a good list of birds because we have 400 species of birds in Copan, approximately counted for us, and this way that is that 50% of the total of species of Honduras country, and that is good for us. And this way we have two very good things for you. Birds, Mayan site, and all people also. We are very friendly with everybody that visit to us. And enjoy this site. If I can help you, just let me know. We will talk about Mayan culture because we are like 100 meters from the entrance of the site. You will see the religious political center of the ancient Copan city. It has just 1.5 square mile. The total city of Copan has 16 square miles. When Copan was in the peak of splendor, Rome, Paris, they were villages. And you know, I don't know if you've been in another Mayan place before.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but today you have the great opportunity to visit the Paris of America. Copan is a city with a lot of details, a very ornate city, just from facade, temples, palaces, staircase, bulkers. We rescued 30,000 pieces of sculpture. Wow. 30,000 pieces. We put together 3,000 pieces of sculpture in the sculpture museum. This site is amazing because the carving is 3D. We call it Mayan Baroque. All these things that we will see, they were built by 16 kings in 400 years. Copan is a Mayan classic city, like Tikal, Palenque, Calakmul in Mexico and Guatemala. But the difference of this place, because every Mayan site is beautiful, but the difference of Copan is that it's very, very artistic. You will see many hieroglyphics. In one moment, if we don't find birds in the forest, we can find birds in the iconography and hieroglyphic. If those birds count for you, I can count. But it's great.
All right, so we're sitting out here on the deck at Panicam Lodge, and I'm joined for this episode of This Birding Life by Oliver Komar, who is an expat U.S. person down here and acting as one of the judges for the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. Oliver, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So how did this concept, how did you become aware of the concept for this event?
You know, I helped kind of promote the idea of doing an event like this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When we first started talking I'm part of the organizing committee, and we started talking among several people. I think all of us were thinking that an event like this would be a good idea. But I participated in a number of similar events in the past. The most recent one was in 2012, the birding challenge, what was it called? The Birding Rally Challenge in Peru.
Peru, right.
And since then I've been thinking that kind of event would be great for Honduras. And in the past, in my distant past, I participated in the World Series of Birding in New Jersey, and in various birdathons and over the years.
Right.
That's my history in getting involved.
And I guess I should add here that we're all down here using a field guide that you had a big hand in creating for this region, filling a gap that had been existing for quite a long time. Tell us about that book.
Well, you're referring to the Peterson Field Guide to Birds of Northern Central America, which was just published a few days ago.
Right.
Just became available. And that's a project that I've been working on for many years with Jesse Fagan, who's the first author. I'm the second author. And then the illustrators are Robert Dean and Peter Burke. Beautiful illustrations. A lot of the illustrations are the same as the field guides from the birds of Costa Rica and the birds of Panama. And then there's a whole bunch of new illustrations that were done for this guide. And you're right, the book fills a gap for Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. And there also hasn't been a new guide for Belize in the last 10 years, so it fills that gap as well.
Cool.
And as you know, every year, bird taxonomy changes,
Right.
the bird names change, and then there's also changes in the bird distribution. So every year there are new birds colonizing this part of the world, and other birds that become, rarer.
Right.
There might even be some local extinctions from time to time. So, field guides are out of date almost the day they're published.
Right.
So after a few years, if there's been no new field guide, you need a new one. But it's been, for Honduras, there was a field guide published just for Honduras a couple of years ago, so there wasn't such a huge gap.
Right.
But for El Salvador, there's never been a field guide. And for Guatemala, there hasn't been a field guide in over 40 years.
Right.
So it did fill that gap.
Right. So, and how did you get involved here in birding in Honduras? Because you've been down here in Central America for quite a while.
I've been in Central America for over 20 years, 24 years.
Right.
And from the beginning of the North American Birds Central America column 15 years ago, I've been an active participant in that column. I became the co-editor of the column something like 12 years ago.
Okay.
So I've just been involved in the birding community. And when I moved to Honduras 6 years ago, I started e-birding all of my observations, and eBird kind of helped bring me back into the birding community.
Right.
Because I'm also an ornithologist, and for many years I considered myself not a birder,
Right.
but yes, a field ornithologist.
Right.
But now I consider myself a birder once again, because I was a birder as a kid and a
Right.
teenager growing up. And I've become really interested in promoting birding as a strategy for conservation.
Right.
It's a strategy not only for increasing awareness of the growing population of Honduras about the importance of their natural areas, but also potentially a strategy for sustainable development in Honduras, bringing in more money into their economy. And some of the countries in Central America really depend now on ecotourism, such
Right.
as Costa Rica and Belize,
Right.
and more so Guatemala and Honduras. And so I'm very interested in promoting birding in Honduras now.
Yeah, well, this event seems to be doing quite a good job of that in terms of, while we're down here, everyone's trying to post. Of course, you're marshaling all the checklists from the 5 different teams for eBird, so that's available for people who are planning to come here to access these lists of some, very concentrated efforts of the not just our teams during this time, but all the work that you guys have been doing. So,
Right.
what are some of the things that you think will happen here in Honduras potentially as a result of starting the tour and some of the work that you and your colleagues have done to, shine a spotlight on Honduras? What do you think some of the things are that might come about because of that?
One of the interesting things about this particular event is that the event raised money to give as prizes to the teams, but not directly to the teams. The money will actually go to conservation projects on the ground.
Right.
So one of the projects that I can mention that I hope to help promote as well is bringing education about birds into schools, elementary schools and high schools, in particular in the buffer zones of protected areas, because we need to make sure that the kids understand the importance of preserving the forests and biodiversity.
Right.
The kids are the future of Honduras.
Right.
And if they can understand the importance of protecting the national parks, there's a chance the national parks will actually, continue to be
Right.
protected into the future.
Right.
That's something that I hope will come out of this kind of event. And there's other interesting conservation projects that I hope will benefit from this event as well. Including development of better trails in national parks for birding.
Yeah. And is there anything that you guys are doing here to, for example, build up the infrastructure of guides, like train guides, and certify them, or put them through sort of a specific curriculum of training so that they're equipped to handle the ecotourists that are bound to come?
Actually, yeah, there's actually been quite a lot of work in that area. The U.S. government has provided funding for guide training over the last few years, and there've been a number of new guides coming online, available to take people out on birding trips. Also, I'm involved in the Honduran Ornithological Association, which is an NGO, and there's not a whole lot of ornithologists in Honduras, so our main focus right now is promoting ecotourism and
Right.
birding. The organization has promoted the formation of bird clubs in 6 of the cities of Honduras, and we see those bird clubs as a kind of training grounds for new guides or development.
Cool.
Kind of developing, or what would we call that? Areas to find new potential
Right.
guides and getting people interested in birding in the local communities,
Right.
and then some of those people will get excited about it and see that there's an opportunity to work as guides.
Right. Neat. So you're a judge for the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. What are some of the sticky wickets that you've had to deal with, or you think you might have to deal with as a judge?
The main thing is that people come from outside of the region and they don't know what the birds are here, or what species are expected, or what species are common, and there's always a tendency for foreigners to see a bird that reminds them of a bird they know very well, and
Right.
to identify that and say, oh yeah, I saw this bird, I know that species really well because I see it all the time. They don't realize necessarily that the species down here are different.
Right.
And so just kind of trying to work out if there's any misidentifications.
Right.
So far we haven't seen too many.
Good. Well, that's a good thing. Well, hey, thank you so much for talking to us here on This Birding Life. I want to congratulate you on the new field guide.
Thank you.
And also on so far very successful Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care.
Marilyn Hendren, Carlsbad, California.
All right, Marilyn, this is not your first time in Honduras, correct?
Correct.
So how's this trip been different from other times you've been here?
Lots more birds.
Okay. Any birds that stand out to you by chance?
The lovely Cotinga.
All right. And It's actually the namesake of our team, right?
That's correct.
Right. So any birds that you want to see today or in the time we have remaining?
Another squirrel cuckoo up and close and personal.
Okay. Thank you, Marilyn. Appreciate your time. Randy?
Hey, Bill.
Yeah. So how's your experience been here on the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour?
It's been fantastic. We've got a great group of people. The teams are fantastic and learning a ton, especially from our team leader, Mr. Thomspon, and from our local Honduran guide, Elmer Escoto, who works here at the lodge at Pico Bonito.
Now, first time in Honduras?
This is actually my 4th time in Honduras.
Okay. And have you always come here for birding?
Yes, always for birding. It's fantastic. I just kind of discovered, I just literally Googled birding in Honduras, and up came the lodge at Pico Bonito, and decided to give that a try. And from here you can do 5 different excursions to nearby sites around the country.
So what are some of the favorite experiences from this week thus far?
Well, every day is it's just opens your eyes to the density of birds in each of these sites that we've been to, and that really to me is the takeaway. You know, everybody has a favorite bird they may be looking for, but you know, just the numbers of birds and the density of species is incredible.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Randy. Tell us your first and last name and where you're from.
Randy Wood, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
So we're fully international here on the Velveteen Cotingas. And now we're looking at a spot-breasted wren that's singing over the side here.
Yeah, it went left and across that log there.
So we're up on the tower. We've got had a lovely Cotinga sitting up for us for quite a while. Now we've got keel-billed toucans flying across, collared arisaries, rufous-tailed hummingbird, and striped-tailed hermit, I believe it is, down below us. And brown jays going overhead, Montezuma oropendalos. We can hear keel-billed toucans, their grindy call in the distance. Our team's generally taken a more mellow approach and relied on just letting the birds take us where we're going. So, all right, please tell us your name and where you're from.
Barbara Stern, Bel Air, Texas.
And Barbara, is this your first time in Honduras?
First time in Honduras, second time in Central America. I've been to Costa Rica.
Okay, and you've been spotting a lot of birds. You've got really good eyes for spotting. What do you attribute that?
Luck.
I think it's also persistence. You're always scanning, so you picked up a bunch of birds for us today. You just got some collared arisaries. Any other birds or experiences that stand out for you this week that we've been together?
Just meeting 10 new people that are dedicated to birding and on this awesome put-together trip.
Yeah, I think the itinerary's been really interesting because going from site to site, a lot of driving on the Honduran highways, as it were.
Yes,
But once we've gotten birding, I mean, yesterday was kind of spectacular, wasn't it?
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Well, good luck the rest of the trip, and thank you for being here and for spotting so many birds.
Thank you very much.
100 steps? Huh? 100 Elmers.
Doubler?
100
It's 100
Elmers.
steps. No, but it's not like going like that. It's like that, you know. So after here, it's a little flatter, and then a little.
And then it gets steep. And then you go uphill.
It's hard to explain about it.
I think you mean 1,000 steps.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be slowly. But it's up to you. Or we can go to the tower number 4. It's way down there.
I think I got to puke through my eyelids.
Remember the tower from? Remember
Yeah,
the
there was some stairs down.
Yeah.
That goes, it's very tall.
tower? It's way down there. Tower number 4.
Okay.
We just take the trail, going. Then it's a flat area, and we can go to the tower over there.
Okay. Well, I'd like to try for that. Who's up for going up a little bit to the next place and then come back down?
Are the 35 species guaranteed?
Yeah.
No, I don't guarantee nothing.
I'll make you, okay.
All right, my friend. So tell me how you think things went this week.
It was a great week. Spend the time with you, birding around Honduras. We got a lot of species. Amazing. What can I say?
It was fun. It was a fun group that we had too, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. The whole group enjoyed, and you know, we were staying in the best places and enjoying the time together. I think we have a great time.
We did. You were great in the field, Emma. I'm really impressed with your skills as a guide, and also your obviously your knowledge of birds, but also just your overall good humor. You really kept things rolling when it was getting grueling in the afternoon and we were hot and tired and sweaty, and we had a 3-hour drive ahead of us.
Well, that's part of my job, make people happy, you know, trying to wake up a little bit and, you know, like start feeling better, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So something like that. So I hope you have enjoyed my time.
I had a great time, and it's been super fantastic to be here with you. So thanks a lot, Omar.
Oh, you're welcome, my friend.
Also being joined now by Richard Crossley, famous expat Brit, Cape May, New Jersey, stalwart birder, field guide author, raconteur. How was your week here at the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour?
Oh, Bill, it was bloody great, mate. So it was much better than I expected. We were really fortunate. We had a killer team who were lots and lots of fun. There was a riot this morning on the bus because we got house sparrow. That's how crazy they were, you know. So no,
Was
it
that
was
you
a
guys
blast.
with the soccer cheer, the football cheer I just heard? Oi, oi, oi.
I'm afraid so. That was us. That was us.
Well, you guys are going to finish in the money, so congratulations. It was a very impressive effort, and congrats to you and your team.
Well, thank you very much. I think we finished second. Very proud of that, and I think it really is because we have a great team. And so I was absolutely stunned by how people got into it. They just loved it, and you know, at the end of the day, they were pushing us to get up early and move a bit faster and get more birds. So I was feeling my age at the end of the week, Bill.
I think we all were. Richard, congratulations and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Bill. All the best.
Well, it looks like I might be talking to the future champion of the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour, but I'm not sure yet because the results aren't in. Adam, you're a regular here on the podcast, and you're also a generous sponsor of the podcast. I want to hear from you how it was this week birding in Honduras.
It was a lot of fun. I think that was the key word for this whole event. Our team had a great time. We enjoyed the challenge of finding new species every day and the logistics around it and working around the weather and targeting the more difficult species. So we had a really nice team. Guys were keen, good spotters. We had Alex Alvarado, who's arguably the top guide in Honduras, which I think is the main reason for our success. And we did well, so very pleased.
Well, congratulations, and you executed it just like a successful tour operator would. I heard you getting up a couple of days. You were next to me in the cabin. I was like, who the hell's getting up at 2:30 in the morning? I was like, oh, Adam, that's who.
We did work hard. We had 3 a.m. start, but it all paid off in the end.
Yeah, good. Congrats, man.
Thank you, Bill.
Abogados Juan Orlando Hernández Alvarado, quienes han sido importantes apoyos para la realización de este evento. Señoras y señores, en ese sentido quiero que recibamos a continuación al oficial de Medio Ambiente en representación de la Embajada de los Estados Unidos de América, ante el pueblo y gobierno de Honduras, el señor Peter Harding, que a continuación se va a dirigir a todos ustedes, pero también, antes de escucharlo a él, vamos a...
Sometimes I can't even read. And thanks to some dear friends out there, and thanks to a whole lot of other people. Here we are tonight. I want to thank our 5 tour leaders. You guys are friends. You know, we see each other fleetingly at birding festivals and bird fairs. I came to you with this crazy idea, and to the last man, every single one of you said, yes, 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 we want to help Honduras. This would not be happening without you. So, can I please get an applause for our We've got 50 participants here. Some of you guys are friends, who have been friends. Some of you guys now are friends and gals. You paid to do this. You took time off from your lives. You took money out of your bank accounts. You got up early. You got onto airplanes. You came down here. You ran around like a bunch of lunatics, flying birds, competing for prize money that wasn't even going to be yours. Competing for prize money to go back into Honduras. You 50 people almost brings tears to my eyes. How humbled I am, how honored I am that you all had faith in me, in Honduras, and that you came down and pulled this off. Can I please get an applause for these 50 amazing people? We got 5 local guides here. We've got Alex Alvarado, we've got William Oriana, we've got Elmer Escoto, we've got Santos Calderon, we've got Esdras Lopez. I remember all these guys when they were just skinny little kids, and most of them didn't know anything about birds and before they were. Okay? You think there's not a future in agritourism? Do you think there's not a future in ecotourism? We have 5 shiny examples right back here right now. Please give me an applause. Conservation prizes here. Why are they called conservation prizes? Well, you know, we identified some projects from the start. There may be better projects out there. There may be worse projects out there. We've got a heck of a team here that was head by Adam Riley, of Rock Timber Tours, and Alex Alvarado of Honduras Birding. Prior to this, I sent all our teams, all our tour leaders, a document to fill out and very clearly define where they wanted their prize money to go, should they win first, second, third, fourth place, etc. And these guys chose McCaw Mountain in Copan, and they chose that for McCaw Mountain and Lloyd Davidson's efforts in restoring populations of scarlet macaws to areas of Honduras where they were formerly extinct or abundant, where they formerly resided. And so what I think we need to do here is award this $20,000 conservation prize. Thanks to the Can we get the Honduras Birding guys? Can we stand up? Can we please stand up? Guys, you came down here, you had a bird tour, you had some fun, you had some good food, you had some okay food, you had some bumpy rides on a bus here and there. But guess what? In 10 or 20 or 30 years or more, in some parts of Honduras, people are going to see scarlet macaws, and they're going to be living and breeding in the wild. And that's going to have a lot to do with you and what you just did. And that's $20,000 is going to help that happen. So thank you very much.
Out of the 5 teams competing in the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour, the Velveteen Cotingas finished 5th by just a few species. While everyone likes to win, it was clear to us from the start that we just might not be the winners, so we decided to enjoy the experience. I bet that the members of the Cotingas got the most lifers of any team, and we had a pleasing amount of teamwork in getting nearly everybody on our team on every single bird. Now, would I do this again? You bet. But I might prefer to lead the team in a less competitive event category. While I've done birding competitions and big days all across the U.S. and around the world, I really prefer showing people new birds and enjoying the experience, which takes time. With a big day, you're often rushing to the next bird and to the next birding hotspot. I've introduced or helped to introduce the concept of a big sit to the World Series of Birding in New Jersey, to the Great Texas Birding Classic in Texas, and to Champions of the Flyway in Israel. So maybe next time we'll do big sits at the various lodges and hotspots around Honduras. If you're interested in joining a team for the next Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour, you can do so by visiting HondurasBirdTour.com for more details. Special thanks to James Adams for coming up with this great idea and for asking me to be a team leader. And thanks too to my fellow Velveteen Cotingas leader, Elmer Escoto. Elmer was great the entire time. One of the happiest, most talented guides I've ever had the pleasure to bird with. And also thanks to my Cotingas teammates, Marcy, Chris, Paul, Randy, Barbara, Marilyn, Joyce, Mark, Terry, and Greg. I enjoyed your company and friendship immensely. The lodges took great care of us. The birding site guides were amazing, and the Honduran people were universally welcoming and friendly. So I can highly recommend Honduras as a world-class birding destination. My deep thanks to Birdwatchers Digest, the home for this podcast since 2007. Please check out everything Birdwatchers Digest has to offer at birdwatchersdigest.com. Thanks to Carl Zeiss Sports Optics for their ongoing sponsorship of This Birding Life and for the significant support they gave to the Honduras Birding for Conservation Tour. You can see all the amazing things that Zeiss does at zeiss.com/birding. Rock Jumper Birding Tours has sponsored This Birding Life for the past 2 years. With 300 tours annually to more than 100 destinations, Rock Jumper is sure to have a perfect tour for you. Learn more at rockjumperbirding.com. That'll do it for this episode, everybody. Until next time, this is Bill Thomspon III saying, I'll see you out there with the birds. Laters!